I think most people who have been following the MrBeast story are aware that MrBeast sent a cease and desist to DogPack after he came out with his videos about him, but Daily Mail just put out a full copy of the cease and desist along with this article they put out. MrBeast hires 2K an hour super lawyer who exonerated Alec Baldwin in Rust shooting trial as employee who quit after 3 weeks, brands YouTuber a sociopath. And here's the first page of it. So apparently Dogpack's name is Dawson French. Daily Mail already doxed him, so that's not anything new that I'm putting out there. This has been in a public article by a major publication. Dear Mr. French, this firm, Quinn Emanuel Urquhart and Sullivan LLP, has recently been retained by MrBeast YouTube LLC and its founder, Jimmy Donaldson, regarding the unsettling news that you have embarked on a campaign to disparage MrBeast as a company and defame Jimmy Donaldson as an individual. Not only are your statements about MrBeast and Jimmy Donaldson untrue, they also violate the clear, binding, enforceable terms of your confidentiality and non-disclosure agreement with MrBeast dated March 25th, 2024, which you have shown in videos posted to the internet. Absent your immediate compliance with the demands specified herein, MrBeast and Jimmy Donaldson are prepared to take the necessary legal steps to protect their reputation and business. Even then, we have reason to believe that your conduct has already adversely impacted MrBeast and Jimmy Donaldson, and we reserve all rights to pursue money damages to rectify any and all harm you may have caused. So, point 1, violations of the social media restriction. When you joined MrBeast as a trial period employee in March 2024, you voluntarily entered into a binding NDA agreement with MrBeast. That NDA agreement included a social media restriction clause which survives your departure from the company. It provides social media restriction. Employees shall not post anything on social media about the company, Jimmy Donaldson, or the employee's employment with the company. So obviously, if stuff's illegal, you can come out with that no matter what. But it seems like he basically signed an agreement that anything that's not criminal, he can't come out with. Anything related to the channel or Jimmy or his time working there, he's not allowed to talk about at all, according to the lawyer, at least. You have willfully violated this clause by posting about MrBeast, Jimmy Donaldson, and your employment with MrBeast on social media. Specifically, you have made numerous posts to Reddit under the username u/MrBeastCreative and to Twitter and YouTube under the username @DogPack404. In one video, you even held up your NDA agreement with MrBeast while willfully violating its terms by discussing MrBeast and publicly posting the video on YouTube. In your videos and posts, you have levied false and defamatory allegations against MrBeast and Jimmy Donaldson. You have no understanding of the inner workings of MrBeast, given that you only spent 3 weeks at the company on a trial basis before you were fired for conduct even you have characterized as inappropriate. So, all of the time leading up to this, I got the impression that DogPack had worked there for like at least a couple months. But the lawyer here is saying it was only 3 weeks. And we'll see a little bit more later here that kind of reaffirms that, at least. You did not make it to the end of your 90-day trial period without repeatedly ignoring your supervisor and then attempting to secretly spend company resources on something you described as a toy. During your brief period at MrBeast, you sought to attribute your inappropriate conduct to programming from being raised with access to an iPad and bad mental health. But there's no excuse for acknowledging the terms of your agreement while simultaneously going out of your way to violate them. So yeah, it sounds like they had a couple reasons to fire him, according to this. On your last day at MrBeast in April, the day you were fired, you pleaded for your job back, insisting MrBeast was a place you wanted to work. You asked for a second chance for your trial period and asked to later reapply to the company. You even sought advice on how to be successful if you were to apply to work for MrBeast again in the future. Unlike the narratives you spun to cast yourself as the victim when being terminated for conduct that at a minimum demonstrates a lack of judgment, your communicated desire to be part of MrBeast remained unchanged over the course of that nearly hour-long meeting. So he was like trying to keep his job in a meeting for an hour, begging, no, don't let me go, please. That is because the information you were exposed to during your trial period at MrBeast confirmed that it is a great company and a great place to work. Your more recent social media posts occurred at a time when you would have had no new information or insight from inside MrBeast. Instead of speaking about the positive experience you had at MrBeast that apparently caused you to desperately want to return to the company, your posts contain misinformation and false statements designed to harm MrBeast and Jimmy Donaldson. So it kind of roasted them. They're saying you were desperate to work for MrBeast, DogPack. But obviously that's just their telling of the meeting. Violations of the confidential information provision. Your NDA agreement with MrBeast also contains a provision prohibiting disclosure of any proprietary or confidential information you gained during the roughly 3 weeks you worked at MrBeast as a trial employee. That includes the following: information about Jimmy Donaldson, employee. Okay, this looks pretty standard. Yeah, it's very, very thorough, but for use in its business and related documents, materials, knowledge, or other confidential business information of any nature whatsoever disclosed to or developed by employee, technical. So, yeah, there's everything. Your trial period employee agreement trial agreement provides additional obligations not to disclose the following forms of proprietary or confidential information. Yeah, just say anything related to that, any kind of marketing, financial, trade secrets, branding relationship, customer contacts, or other knowledge possessed by the employer which are not generally known by individuals outside. Though often misguided and ill-informed due to your brief and limited employment at MrBeast, you have been posting on Twitter, YouTube, and Reddit about MrBeast's video production methods, view generation techniques, and employee and personnel information. These unauthorized disclosures appear to be a deliberate attempt to harm MrBeast's business. They are also in violation of the agreements you signed with MrBeast. You are not permitted to share any information that touches on the above categories to any person. Here we go. MrBeast's demands. It should be apparent from this letter that MrBeast takes your unlawful conduct seriously and is committed to getting to the bottom of each and every violation of your agreements during your brief trial period with MrBeast and subsequent to your departure. Among other potential claims, MrBeast believes your conduct gives rise to claims against you for breach of contract and defamation. Please be advised that MrBeast is prepared to seek damages, injunctions, attorney's fees, and costs in accordance with its contractual rights, as well as such other relief as it may be entitled to under the aforementioned causes of action. So I'm pretty sure DogPack has said that he talked to a lawyer about the videos that he put out, and so he should be good to post that. I hope so, because I mean, it sounds like these guys want to go after him for everything they possibly can, basically. Like they're not messing around at all, at least from the wording of this. For the avoidance of doubt, because you complained of a lack of clarity in your nearly hour-long recorded termination meeting, MrBeast is prepared to take appropriate legal action against you if you do not cease posting and delete all previous posts about MrBeast, including Jimmy Donaldson and any person currently or formerly affiliated with MrBeast, by August 1st, 2024. You were first warned about MrBeast's intention to seek legal action in a letter dated July 25th. This is the final warning before MrBeast will have you served with papers initiating a lawsuit against you. So that is the actual cease and desist itself, but this Cope and Seethe account, they put some more stuff about it and there's some extra information. So it seems that this lines up with DogPack working for MrBeast for around 3 weeks from the time he signed the NDA to the 19th of April. This may come as a surprise to some as his Reddit AMA is a bit misleading. Also, to no one's surprise, that NDA looks like it could be an issue for him. So here is DogPack replying to a comment that asks, is there a reference to be later disclosed from the beginning, Kendrick? In the video, you mentioned employment from February to May, but post says March to May. Just curious, why the difference? I was working a bit with them in February, trial period in March, and then 90-day contract from April 1st to end of June. So he says he had a contract up until the end of June, but he didn't work all that. He got fired before it ended. So it makes it sound like he worked there longer than he did. But if you take very literally what he says, he doesn't actually say he worked there for months. He just heavily implies it. And then I think they're just calling more attention to part that was in there. McGuire Woods LLP represents your former employer, Mr. Beast YouTube LLC. I am writing to you regarding your recent troubling conduct following your involuntary termination from employment with the company on April 19th, 2024. In your videos and posts, you have levied false and defamatory allegations against Mr. Beast and Jimmy Donaldson. You have no understanding of the inner workings of Mr. Beast, given that you only spent 3 weeks at the company. So that's just them backing up what was in there. It's more of that. Though personally, we found the section going over his exit from the company particularly hilarious, where he apparently characterized his own conduct as inappropriate and attempted to secretly spend company funds on a toy. So yeah, that's interesting too. I'm very curious what it was that he was trying to get money spent on, what the toy was. So as most of you will know, DogPack's third video has been getting less than positive responses due to the claims within it. So let's move on and just dig into him a bit. DogPack is mostly known on Reddit as MrBeast Creative, but to really understand him, we'll need to introduce you. And this is Nicholas Diorio commenting on the most recent DogPack video. It's actually so fucked how bad the new DogPack video is. I'm addicted to watching people react to it, so I know who's full of shit. Basically, if you covered it positively, then he knows you're no good. I say allegedly because there are a lot of James Warrens in North Carolina, so I'm looking into it. Versus he offered employees cocaine, maybe. So yeah, the multiple people named James Warren thing is wild to me. I don't know why you wouldn't just get a for sure answer on that before mentioning that, because that's a huge claim. Yeah, and this is just showing that MrBeast Creative, who is DogPack, no connections. My application exists on Reddit. My alt is u/that5head guy. And then this is just an example. He was on MrBeast subreddit posting a bunch of days ideas for videos that MrBeast could do. And then this video here is what he sent in when he applied for MrBeast to try to get hired. And it kind of makes it seem like DogPack wasn't totally honest about his intentions and like the sort of things that he thinks about when he makes content, as far as like exploiting the minds of children and stuff. It's a little bit weird.
It should be happening pretty soon. I'm going to talk broadly about how I approach problems, systems framework, thinking from first principles, feedback and iteration, and just how these concepts apply to YouTube and coming up with ideas. For me, when I'm...
So yeah, he knows all this psychology stuff, or at least enough to act like he knows stuff about it. And, you know, how he would use this to make videos for MrBeast.
tasked with solving a problem, I spend more time breaking down the problem than I do actually trying to solve it. So I view the universe as a hierarchy of systems. Quarks make up atoms, which make up molecules, DNA, organelles, cells, organisms, organizations, and so on. The universe sorts itself into these higher complexity systems over time, like a self-solving puzzle. And this evolution process exists everywhere, not just in nature. Animals evolve, cars evolve, YouTube videos evolve, all according to survival of the fittest. Anyway, the same way an organism or a car is made up of smaller components, so is a YouTube video. And since there's no lexicon for the anatomy of a video, I'll just refer to all subsystems as components to keep it simple. So every video exists as a hierarchy of components that evolve.
Yeah, I mean, just look at this. He's got like a lot of analysis that goes into this and how exactly to get people to click on your video from a psychological perspective. And, you know, that was kind of one of his criticisms of MrBeast. So it's weird to see him, you know, like kind of excited about presenting this to MrBeast. Like, hey, you should hire me because I know about this stuff. I can get the kids to click. I know how their brains work. So I don't know. It seems like what DogPack should have done is, you know, taken the highlights, the best bit of info that he had from all 3 of these videos, and maybe just made one video with the most relevant stuff in there. Because, yeah, I don't know. It seems like his credibility is slipping, and it's not good because it makes it easier for MrBeast to respond to this stuff. And it makes it easier for him, if he makes a response video or whatever, he can take some of the more out there criticisms and stuff like this with DogPack and knock these arguments down at the beginning of the video, and then he doesn't have to address the more serious stuff, if he even does, until the very end when not as many people are watching. And yeah, it makes it easier for MrBeast to, get away with this and maintain his empire.